New tensions now in the Epstein investigation on Capitol Hill. Epstein's billionaire business associate Leon Black, whose name appears hundreds of times in the DOJ's files, testifying in what the Oversight Committee chair James Comer has said could be the most groundbreaking deposition yet. But the interview was apparently cut short. Black left within less than an hour after the committee gave him subpoenas. He'd been there voluntarily, ended up leaving, subpoenas in hand. Lawmakers say he wasn't answering their questions, but Black's legal team is calling it political theater.
There's no question that as soon as this interview started, that the witness was not going to answer critical questions.
They made a premeditated political decision to serve him with subpoenas after less than an hour of questioning. This was nothing more than a planned political stunt.
I want to bring in Julie Tsirkin, who's following this one for us. Really some drama here on this one. Leon Black's testimony, he may not be the most familiar name to people around the country, but to those who are investigating the Epstein case, he's certainly, somebody they want to talk to. That's why he was brought in. But after, 30, 45, 50 minutes, the chairman of the Oversight Committee, the Republican chair, had subpoenas ready to go, already prepared, and gave them to him.
Yeah, it seems, Hallie, like the Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer was prepared that Leon Black would stonewall to the committee, because what he really wanted to hear from Leon Black, and it's not just him, you heard Robert Garcia too, there's bipartisan agreement that they wanted Leon Black to provide the receipts, to disclose exactly what he knew when. He started paying Epstein for financial advice after 2013. That was 4 years after Jeffrey Epstein already served a year in jail. He was first arrested and first put in jail for some of his crimes. So Leon Black refusing to shed any daylight on that. And I also want to say that his lawyer actually said that those non-disclosure agreements that Black refused to talk about, that's subpoena number 1. Subpoena number 2 is for Black to actually come in and testify under oath on July 16th. His lawyer had said that Epstein was not involved with those alleged subpoenas, saying, quote, whether they exist or not. I thought that was extremely notable. Black, along with Les Wexner, probably the two most prominent figures that at least backed Epstein financially. We know that Black paid Epstein almost $160 million to help him out with some estate troubles that he was in. So this is a big name for the committee to hear from. Robert Garcia, the top Democrat, said that he applauds Comer's move here and said that all of these interviews should really be conducted under oath, which we know many of them are not. The committee has shown, Hallie, they are very serious when it comes to these subpoenas. We saw this with the Clintons earlier this year. We saw this to some extent with Pam Bondi and even Ghislaine Maxwell. And so if Black decides not to show for his subpoena on July 16th and decides not to reveal those NDAs, reveal some of this information that they want to see, potentially he could be held in criminal contempt by Congress, and this matter could escalate all the way to the Department of Justice. So the committee had shown, Hallie, for months, if not more than that they are very serious to running to the bottom of this, particularly when it comes to hearing from these key men, these key figures, not all of them, of course, some women as well, that were extremely powerful, that were involved with Epstein, that were very close to him, and they want to know what they knew when, and they will not stop until they get that information. Hallie?
Julie Tsirkin, thank you.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.